Hey, just finishing this claim to get Dave back on the road.
Nice. I wonder what Dave's doing.
You do your thing. We've got you covered.
Hey, is the power off on this?
I don't know. Just take it off.
Safety violation, unsafe work conditions.
In the construction trades unions, safety is our highest priority, and we train you to recognize and speak out on unsafe working conditions. And goes home safe. Learn about careers in construction at georgiaconstructioncareers.com.
All right, good afternoon, and welcome to the 330th episode of the Alfa Insurance Georgia Prep Sports Drive to the GHSA State Title. Today, we're going to recap the first night of state tournament action in basketball. There's going to be a lot of games tonight. There were some big results. It was a really busy first day. It's going to be an exciting tournament. We'll look at some of the other news in spring sports, and then we are going to be joined by a guest I'm really excited for, Randy Crutchfield. He was Wayne County's defensive coordinator, and he has taken over the Haralson County Rebels, who've been announced out. Was Haralson County what came about? Obviously, they left Wayne County in a much better state than it was in when they got there. They were a 1-9 team. In 2 short years, that staff, those playmakers were outstanding. And what I always point out, they were in a region with Benedictine, Burke County, New Hampstead, and it was them as well. And they were right in the thick of it, outstanding region, and they were very exciting. So I want to see what's next and see what his vision is and goals are going to be at Haralson County. But let's get started on the basketball front. So the majority of the games last night were on the girls' side. There are going to be a lot of girls' games tonight still. Class 7A played a few. There's only one boys 7A game, but we'll look at the results, and then if you go to scoreatl.com, we are going to be doing recaps for every single night of the basketball tournament. So it's not just a first round recap. Any day there are games, we're going to have as much of them covered as possible. All right, so in Class 7A, at the top left quadrant of the bracket, you had Colquitt County defeated Archer. That was at home. Archer had to go to Moultrie. That was a 50-43 victory for Colquitt County. They're going to play the winner of Marietta and Campbell. Campbell earned the top seed. They defeated Carrollton, so Campbell is red hot right now, one of the better teams out of Cobb County. So that will be a road trip for Colquitt to Campbell, unless Marietta, the 4 seeds, able to defeat Campbell. Duluth and Lambert are going to play tonight, and then they will play Cherokee in the second round. Cherokee scored a 72-52 win over Central Gwinnett. We have a recap for that one. Cherokee was up 19-13 after the first. They expanded that to a 12-point lead at the half. Central Gwinnett narrowed it with a run in the third quarter to cut it back to single digits, but then Cherokee ran away in the fourth for a 20-point victory. Tony Warren had 21 points, Riley Simmons had 17, and Alex Whitecliff had 14. So 3 players in double figures for Cherokee. In the bottom left, Camden and Newton are going to play tonight. They'll be at Newton, and then the winner will face Region 3 champion North Paulding. They defeated East Coweta 68-39. And then North Gwinnett topped West Forsyth, and they will play Buford in the second round. Buford won 66-21 over Wheeler. A dominant victory. Should be an interesting matchup, though. And so on the left side of the bracket, just 3 games. 5 of them were played. All right, on the right side, North Cobb held off Mill Creek 45-40. Tonight's games, The winner of South Forsyth and Norcross will play North Cobb. That game's at Norcross, the top seed. You got Westlake and McEachern, Richmond Hill, and undefeated number 1 ranked Grayson. And then the other games on the girls' side in 7A, you got Decula and Walton, and then Discovery at Milton. Carrollton was able to defeat Hillgrove and will now have to visit Lowndes this week after Lowndes defeated defending state champion Brookwood 52-42. And we have a couple of those recaps. Let's go over the Buford one real quick. This is their massive 66-21 win over Wheeler. Senior guard and Ohio State signee Ava Watson made history in the team's win over Wheeler, becoming the first player in Buford history to score 2,000 career points. It's a big milestone. I think the only player that comes to mind that hit that 2,000 mark was last year when Crystal Henderson of Kell did it. Buford's an outstanding program. They've had big-time names come through there, so to be the first to hit 2,000 shows how good Ava Watson is and what type of player Ohio State's going to be getting. Carrollton, in their win over Hillgrove, we know on the basketball side, boys and girls, Carrollton is always described as a scrappy, defensive-minded team, and they had to face adversity in that game. They were down 15-7 after a slow first quarter, but they bounced back. They took a 3-point lead at the half that was fueled by an 18-7 run, and then they extended that lead to a 8-point lead heading into the fourth. So a really slow start for Carrollton, but they finished strong and ended up dominating the final 3 quarters. All right, in Class 6A, which is going to be a very exciting one, all of the top left bracket was played. Veterans, Brunswick, Rome, and Hughes all advanced. Hughes dominated Gainesville 64-37. Rome defeated Sprayberry 37-32. Brunswick 50-19 win over Mundy's Mill, and then Veterans defeated Lakeside DeKalb. So no road wins on that quadrant. Sequoia was able to get a road win, however, over Lassiter. Lassiter fell just short of the region title. This was probably the best girls season Lassiter has had in, I think I said, at least 20 years, 23 years. But their run is going to come short. Certainly a season to learn and grow from. Sequoia is a great team, but they get a 51-35 win at Lassiter, and they will now have to play North Forsyth, who looked fantastic, 49-16 win over Alexander. On the right side of the bracket, looks like we will have 4 games tonight. 4 were played last night. Lakeside Evans had a big win over Rockdale County, a team that has made the finals in recent seasons. It's a big win for Lakeside Evans, 52-41. Let's see if we have a recap on that one. Okay, we don't have that specific game, but definitely one of note. So that's the second road team we've seen win so far. You had New Manchester defeating Lanier in a big way, 53-23. Glen Academy held off Murrow 63-59, and then they will now play Tiff County, who beat Riverwood 64-22. Tiff County is the Region 1 champ. So tonight's games, you got Blessed Trinity against number 1 ranked River Ridge. That's going to be a big matchup. The winner will play New Manchester. You have Haralson County at Marist, and then Etowah at Pope, and then South Paulding at Habersham Central. That is 6A on the girls' side. In Class 5A, for the girls, all of the right side of the bracket was played. These are the teams that advanced to the Sweet 16. Creekside, Dalton, they're going to face. Then you got Eagles Landing and Arabia Mountain, Midtown, and GAC. GAC, we featured them after the big region tournament clinching victory. They beat Calhoun 58-46. And then you had Jones County and Ware County advancing. a team that I think could make noise in 5A. Their record has been fantastic, and they're rock solid. That's Jefferson. They handled business, 56-49 win over Tri-Cities. They await the winner of tonight's matchup, probably the best girls matchup in the classification that will be played tonight. That's Cambridge at Cartersville. Then Harris County advanced. They will play Bradwell Institute. You have Jackson Atlanta advancing with a big 80-27 win over Flowery Branch. They will play the winner of defending state champion Kell and Hiram. That's going to be tonight. And then you have Union Grove advancing past Northgate. They're going to play the winner of Chambly and Statesboro. All right, in Class 4A, there was a lot of wild action on the girls' side in Class 4A. Obviously, the biggest winner is going to be Stars Mill. They defeated Westover. They are the top seed, 66-34. And then they will wait for the winner of the Sweet 16 matchup between Sonoraville and either Pace Academy or North Oconee. They will not have to play in the next round because the Spalding-Wayne County game ended in a brawl, and as a result was the first dual forfeited matchup in 102 years. I think that's what it said. So let's look at that story real quick. It's obviously going a little viral on social media, and the GHSA swiftly handled it after reviewing the footage last night. Dual forfeit. It was bench clearing, and Stars Mill is going to advance to the Elite Eight. All right, the GHSA disqualified 2 girls basketball teams from the state tournament Wednesday morning after this is how they described it, a shocking fight ended their first round game Tuesday night at Wayne County. Wayne County was playing Spalding in a Class 4A game when the fight began with 3:46 left in the second quarter. So it was early in the game. They had to stop the game, and so they just said, basically, it was a bench clearing brawl. Said Dr. Hines, it was shocking and egregious and totally unacceptable. The GHSA isn't going to allow that to happen without serious consequences. Social media posts showed the extent of the incident. This is the first double-digit forfeit in state tournament history, which dates back to 1922, according to the great historian Becky Taylor of the Georgia High School Basketball Project. So, yeah, it's not the first one in 102 years. It's the first one in the 102-year history. Hines said further penalties to the schools are forthcoming, but would not speculate on those or comment further. And I think that might carry over to next season with a forfeit or two, or some sort of sanction, maybe a fine. We've seen that before. Because if you think about it, Stars Mill is going to be happy to advance, but they're missing out on hosting a playoff game. So obviously they're happy to advance, but there has to be some sort of compensation or penalty, but they're going to figure it out. So you have that news in Class 4A. So it's a shame that's the way it ended for those two teams. And that was number 2 seed Wayne County, number 3 seed Spalding. So Stars Mill advances. Pace Academy and North Oconee will be a big matchup tonight. They'll face Sonoraville, and they had a very impressive win last night over Westminster, 72-53. Westminster, it's a tough team. They're hovering around the top 10. They're battle tested. They faced Holy Innocents, Southwest DeKalb, all those teams throughout the season, and that shows me Sonoraville's the real deal. They were the Region 7 champion, a huge win over Westminster, and you're going to have a great Elite 8 matchup, whether it's Sonoraville, North Oconee, or Pace Academy facing Stars Mill. That is just exceptional in 4A. Also in 4A on the bottom right, Holy Innocents, they continue their tear through Class 4A. Their only loss was to Baldwin, who is the number 1 ranked team in 4A. But they beat Cedartown last night 88-23. They're going to face Luella, who beat Walnut Grove as the 2 seed 55-51. Defending state champ Griffin advanced with a 57-18 win over New Hampstead. And then Hardaway beat Troop 75-29. So when you look at the top tier in 4A with Holy Innocents, Sonoraville, Baldwin, Stockbridge, if you look at these first round results and you see these margins, 50-point victories, I think it shows how good those teams are. And yeah, these other programs, they're up on the rise. They've had solid seasons as well, but I'm telling you, the Elite 8 and Final 4 in Class 4A is going to be elite. It is going to be exceptional, and you have some potential matchups. I think a rematch with Holy Innocents and Baldwin would be incredible, but you cannot sleep on Stockbridge. So up on the top left, tonight's games, you're going to have the aforementioned Baldwin. They're going to host Southeast Bullock. They are motivated and hungry. They had a bad taste in their mouth last year. They had to play Griffin 5 times. That was their biggest rival. They played so well. They beat Holy Innocents in the Final 4. It was a great matchup. And really what I like about Baldwin is like they are a complete team. They got Janae Walker, Madison Ruff. All the girls have great ball skills. They're relentless defensively. And I think they're probably the most motivated team I've seen on the girls' side this season. They are hungry for that title, so expect a big result tonight from the Braves. You also have Trinity Christian is going to play at Bainbridge. It should be another great matchup right there. Southwest DeKalb, all the credits to Coach Walton. They faced a very tough Northwest Whitfield team and pulled out a 71-68 victory last night, and now they're going to face Stockbridge, who I believe has not lost yet within Class 4A. They're the top seed out of Region 5, and that was a 73-49 victory. I said these were going to be big-time matchups. Southwest DeKalb at Stockbridge this week in the Sweet 16, big-time top 10 matchup. Tonight in 4A girls, you're also going to have Shaw at Fayette County. Fayette County's been phenomenal, boys and girls. Watch out for that matchup. And the winner will face Burke County after their 1-point win over 4-seed West Lawrence, 41-40. Then Heritage Catoosa, the number 2 seed behind Sonoraville, beat Stevenson, 61-40. And then Region 8, number 1 seed Chestatee beat Woodland, 75-52. So I'm trying to see if Region 7 swept. They nearly did. The Southwest DeKalb win, the 3-point win over Northwest Whitfield. So, yeah, I think Heritage Catoosa and Chestatee would be a great matchup, and then you potentially have Fayette County and Burke County. But the big one that I see is, without a doubt, Southwest DeKalb and Stockbridge. Huge matchup. So let's go to the 3A girls real quick. They had a little over half their games played last night. Let's see if we have a good recap to focus on. All right, Wesleyan 72-45 win over Lakeview Fort Oglethorpe. Eva Garabedian led the way with 22 points. Brianna Preston transferred from Lovejoy. She had 17 points, 5 assists, 4 rebounds, and 2 steals. And then Chit Chat Wright finished with 17 points. You also had Johanna Potter double-double with 11 points, 10 rebounds. Complete solid team execution from Wesleyan. They're going to host Coney County in the Sweet 16. Tonight you're also going to have big matchups between let's see, you got on the right side of the bracket, Savannah Country Day is hosting Upson Lee. Number 4 seed Thomasville at Cross Creek, and then number 4 seed Dawson County, who won the state title a few years back. They're going to play Adairsville. And you also had Carver Columbus advancing with a huge 88-25 win over Harlem. All right, let's shift to the boys real quick. Just the few that were played last night. Obviously, the majority will be tonight. You had Buford holding off Osborne 52-49. Buford entered the tournament as one of the hottest teams. They cracked the top 10 a few weeks ago and then have just kept winning. Decula was on their heels in Region 8. You also had Mountain View, who ended up earning the number 2 seed. And so Buford was able to get the win last night over a number 4 seed Osborne. But I think it shows that Wheeler, Cherokee, and Walton might be a little better than people have thought this season. Watch out for Wheeler. They're going to play Collins Hill tonight. You have Brookwood at Valdosta, Marietta at Campbell, Berkmar at Lambert. Lambert's had some big wins recently. They're battle tested against teams like West Forsyth and Milton. Westlake at McEachern. We'll see if Westlake can hang with the Indians. You got Lowndes at Newton, making that long trip, and then West Forsyth Norcross will be a very intriguing matchup on two well-coached teams, and I think that'll be great. We've seen both those teams play. I think it will be good strategy, a great individual matchup, and two teams that do not want to end this thing in the first round. Decula at Walton will be interesting. How does Walton bounce back from some of their recent losses to Wheeler, where they got exposed defensively and limited to just like 41 points? Can they get that offense going? Will they try to win a slow game? Decula is an athletic team. Watch out for that matchup. You got North Gwinnett at Milton, Harrison at Pebblebrook, Archer, dangerous number 4 seed in my opinion, going to Camden County. You got Carrollton at Hillgrove. Hillgrove's battle tested after playing McEachern multiple times. You got South Forsyth at Peachtree Ridge, Cherokee at Mountain View. Can Cherokee pull off a big first round victory and spark another playoff run after making it to the finals last year? And yeah, that was a great Cherokee team, but it wasn't just the first round. I mean, they had a tough playoff run to even make the finals. And honestly, I think people talking about it, that was probably the most impressive Cinderella run we've seen. Didn't really have any big-name college prospects, and for them to advance to the finals in 7A, I think you can't count them out to pull off another big playoff push. In class, let's go to 6A real quick. There were no 6A games played last night. I think there were no 5A ones either. A couple ones to watch for. Grovetown, they earned the number 1 seed. They've hit their stride late in the season. They're going to host Rockdale County. North Atlanta and Haralson County will be a good one. Got Tift County at Marist. Sequoia at Pope. Watch out for that matchup. Can Pope's defense grind out a victory? Got Douglas County at Shiloh. Number 4 seed Riverwood at Lee County, who made the finals last year. Can Lee County avoid an upset in the first round? Woodstock is going to host Blessed Trinity. I think that could be another low-scoring toss-up game. Lanier at South Paulding. Veterans at St. Pius. And then Glen Academy at Jonesboro should be an interesting one. It's a long trip for Glen Academy, and they have certainly faced off a lot over the years in the playoffs, whether it's basketball or football. It's one of the better games this last year. All right, and then 5A real quick before we hit our first break. There was one game, last night. That was Hiram beating Chattahoochee. So a tough loss for Chattahoochee. They made it to the finals of the Region 6 tournament. They ended up losing to Kell. They owned home court, but fell last night to Hiram. So big win for Hiram, tough loss for Chattahoochee. And then they'll play the winner of Heritage Conyers and Tri-Cities. Some other big matchups tonight. I like the Mays Winder Barrow game. I think that is a top 10 caliber game. Mays had a big victory recently over Maynard Jackson and has avenged a lot of its previous losses, so it looks like they're hitting their stride. You also have Dalton, the number 4 seed at Kell. How sharp will Kell look to open the playoffs? How focused and dialed in are they? GAC and Calhoun, another great matchup. And then number 1 seed Clark Central, and then Maynard Jackson, the number 4 seed. I think Maynard Jackson could be the most talented 4 seed on the boys' side, but they need to play like a number 1 seed. And I do put that one on upset alert, but we will see. So that's it for 5A. Let's take a quick break. We'll be joined on the other side with our guest.
Hey, is the power off on this?
I don't know. Just take it off.
Safety violation, unsafe work conditions.
In the construction trades unions, safety is our highest priority, and we train you to recognize and speak out on unsafe working conditions so that everyone arrives and goes home safely. Learn about careers in construction at georgiaconstructioncareers.com.
What you doing?
Hey, just finishing this claim to get Dave back on the road.
Nice. I wonder what Dave's doing.
You do your thing. We've got you covered.
All right, welcome back. So without further ado, let's welcome on our guest, Randy Crutchfield, the new head coach of Haralson County. Hey, Coach, how's it going?
Yes, sir. Good to be here.
Awesome. Can you hear me loud and clear?
Yes, sir.
All right, looks like
Can
the
you hear me?
video's... Yeah, I can hear you. As long as the audio's good, we'll get started. So first things, you had a ton of success at Wayne County. Loved what you and Coach Shaw were doing. I covered 4A. I know how tough that region was. You guys produced massive results. So did you expect to be transitioning from Wayne County to this head coaching job, or when did that first come up on your radar?
Really, from Haralson County has always been kind of on the radar, just from being from the Northwest Georgia area. Me and my wife went to Hiram High School from Paulding County, so it's right next door. They've done an incredible job here with the facilities and have had a lot of success with Coach Peavy over the last few years, so thought it would be a place that I could definitely come and make an impact on. As far as interest in being a head coach, leaving Dodge County and going to coach with Coach Shaw at Wayne County was big, because I wanted to see what it looked like to be a head coach at my age. Most of my head coaches have been a lot older and have had success, so I just didn't know if I was ready to be a head coach. And seeing as much success as he's had, what he's done was huge.
Yeah, and I knew you were going to be one of the younger coaches. So how old are you?
I'll be 35 in September, so 34 right now.
And obviously, Dodge County, going to Wayne County, you're familiar with Georgia high school football, but what does it feel like to join the ranks of all these? I mean, you're a head coach in the state of Georgia now. You know how many legends have come through it. Does it feel like it's the perfect time? Did you expect age 35 to be in this position?
To be honest, when I left this area, I coached at Temple and Villarica and Hiram. When I left this area, I really didn't have a thought that the only thought I had was going to Dodge County was I was going to be there 3 years and figure out if I could be a successful defensive coordinator. Just being a competitor, you wanted to be able to impact the game. So going down there, that was my goal. Years we were very stout on defense and got the guys to buy in. Learned a ton from Ken Coach, who's probably my biggest mentor. He's the coach at Weaver in Alabama, and use that to get the job. Kind of, I said we wanted to necessarily move away, and a wife that's gone everywhere and been very supportive everywhere that we've gone. So. be any more. But wildest dreams, never thought I'd be a head coach when I say, but also, this really, my goal is to come back and be a DC, not a head coach. So very grateful for the opportunity to have.
Absolutely. And then when did that interview process start? It says, like in the articles, it was month long. I mean, how many different times did you have to kind of meet with them? And did you think that you were going to be the choice?
To be honest, I didn't think I was going to be the choice necessarily. There are things that happen in your life that make you, that definitely reveal that there's a greater being. So I'm definitely a big man of faith. And to be honest, I had interviewed for probably 7 head coaching jobs last year and this year. I felt like it was my worst interview out of all of them. And I told everybody that. And I'm very transparent that that's just between me and me. I did not my best. And I remember driving down the road kind of mad about it and saying, hey, Lord, I know if I get this job, it's not because of what I did back there. So definitely, as far as that goes, I mean, they had interviews on Wednesday and Thursday, and they called me on Friday. So it was pretty rapid after the fact, kind of because of dates and when everybody was. Well, it seemed like it drug on a little bit more than it was, but it was pretty quick. It was one of the most quick processes that I've been a part of, just as far as knowing something compared to the other head coaching interviews.
Certainly. And so that was announced in early February. So what were some of the first things as the new head coach you had to do? How's the overall staff looking like? Has that been something you've had to spend a lot of time figuring out, or is it going to remain kind of fairly intact and you guys can hit the ground running?
Well, I mean, I can't really say on a ton of that right now. I've done interviews with people on staff, obviously everybody on staff. I've done interviews with guys that are from the state. So right now I'm going through the process of just figuring out who needs to be on the bus and solidifying that within these next couple weeks.
That's right. And then talk about the defensive success you guys had at Wayne County, because when I looked at the way you guys were playing, the dramatic turnaround under Coach Shaw and you guys, obviously the defense was lights out, but I mean offensively, run first type of offense, you guys had a clear strategy that the team had that identity. So what was it about just stress and defense that you're going to be able to bring to Haralson County?
Yeah, I mean, I really just feel like it was just a sense of urgency. I remember telling Coach Shaw, I think the first day that we scrimmaged in spring, the first week we were there, and he was like, I want all the coaches on the sideline. And we were on the sideline and we watched, and it was about the worst thing I'd ever seen. So I told him the next day, I called him, I was like, Coach, I can't be on the sideline. I've got to be out there running around with these guys. And we were talented. That's the thing. I think tapping into it is one of it comes down to effort, Most guys are better than they think they are. They've got more than they think they can do, and one, modeling what it is. I mean, I'm one of those. I'm out there running. Everybody knows me, knows I'm running to the football, and I'm going to hold myself accountable too. So we had a kid, Tavius was down there at Wayne, and I was walking on the field setting up for practice one day just to show you kind of the culture change. And he told me, he yelled at me from the other end of the field and was like, Coach, you got 3 push-ups, because I was walking on the field. And I kind of grinned, and some people would say, hey, I'm a grown man. I don't, you don't have to tell me what to do or whatever. But I got down, did my 3 push-ups, because they know that I want to be held accountable just as much as I want them to hold each other accountable. And I'm going to hold them accountable too. So for me, it's just getting that, and then going, getting the kids to buy into you. They know that you care, hug them when you need to hug them, get on them when you need to get on them. But every kid's different, and I feel like I became a better coach when I became a dad. So I'm doing the same thing with my 3 little girls.
And then just at Wayne County, what was it like just preparing that team to go up against Benedictine, where clearly they were the defending state champs, through your region rival? What'd you learn just going up against that program? Because they are unique. It's a military school. It's all boys. It's definitely a different type of ball game and rivalry.
Oh, no doubt. I mean, that's – one, it was a great challenge. You take the job at Wayne and you're looking and saying, well, heck, you're taking the job with a with a team that has won back-to-back state championships in your region. So what a great challenge. I mean, some people might have seen it as bad, but I thought it was great. I mean, you want to go compare yourself versus the state's best. And I'll say, I thought we did a pretty good job the first year there, and then the last year they kind of had our number on defense, and where we struggled a little bit on offense the year before, our offense was clicking on all cylinders. So it was just one of those where you just felt like, man, they did a good job game planning, but just a great atmosphere, great environment to be able to coach against some of the state's best. And fortunately for me, playing in a bunch of different coaching in a bunch of different places, I mean, I've had the ability to coach against a lot of the state's best, Dublin and Burke County, many coaches that have won state championships, to be able to compare yourself to them and how you stand up to the state's best.
Yep, and I've heard from a lot of coaches it's one of the toughest places to go down and play. Benedictine's home record's insane, but it wasn't just them. Burke County, outstanding program, New Hampstead. So you guys were in what I thought was one of the best regions anywhere last season. But what's your initial thoughts about Haralson County? I think they're going down to Class A Division I. They'll play a lot of the local powerhouses, I think, with Pepperell, Darlington. What are your thoughts just about the new schedule and landscape?
I mean, if you look at it, it's a lot of great teams with a lot of great coaches. Nothing really different as far as that goes. But the biggest thing is, I think we can compete with everybody that we play. And really, the biggest thing that struck me with these kids that we've got in our weight room right now that we'll have on the field is every day when we come in the weight room, like everywhere I've been, I've kind of set the tone. You don't walk into the weight room, and when they come through, you may give them a little shove or whatever just to get them going. And these guys, they just ran through me. So we are definitely a physical football team, and that'll be our calling card. So we're going to get after it and do the best we can to put our kids in the best positions to be successful, and let the cards fall where they may.
And it's not probably the biggest difference, but from 4A to a school that was, I think, in 3A going down there, are there going to be more two-way players, do you think, at Haralson County? It's something I've noticed, whether it was, I think, that Clay Hyatt guy, or is that something that you guys think you have the numbers to platoon it?
Just my own personal thoughts with it anyway is from coaching at Dodge. I coached at Temple in years past. Your best players are going to be your best players. And even when you look at, a 7A football program, when I can't remember his name, the receiver was at Collins Hill, and he plays DB and receiver at a 7A program. So I think that your best players need to play, and they need to play, special teams, defense, offense. And a lot of guys tell me, like, Coach, I'm an offensive player. Like, no, you're a football player. So from that standpoint of it, we want to have many guys as we can out, and we're going to try to compete, but the best guys are going to play. And that was really us at Wayne, too. Our Matt Fuller, who was running back going to South Carolina, was top 5 in the state in rushing. Last year, he was our leading tackler with over 90 tackles on the season at inside linebacker. So you're definitely going to have to play your best players to be successful, especially at a small program.
Oh, yeah. And Matt Fuller was definitely a tough football kid. You were talking about how you noticed right away they were motivated. They've been hitting the weight room hard. What do you sense from them, though, of how they took last season? They had the 10-2 finish in 2021, missed out on the playoffs last year, but do you think that was youth? Because obviously the hunger's there, but what do you sense their overall goals are going to be, just what they want to prove this season?
Well, I think it's that. I think a little bit too of the hangover. It's 10-2. Some of those guys moved on, and it's tough to follow it up. And I think guys are just ready to write their own chapter. The big thing about one taking the job is, they've had a region championship that's been pretty close, or not far away, only a few years away. So that's to me, that's a huge deal. I just think these guys are ready to write their own chapter. I do think it was a little bit of youth. They started there's a ton of sophomores on the team, so that means they were playing a ton of sophomores, especially up front on the offensive line. But the good thing about it is there's some good skill players that are coming up, and those offensive linemen, defensive line kids are going to be juniors and seniors this year. So I do think that we have a good chance to be very successful, and going 10-2, nobody would schedule them. So you're playing a very tough schedule, having to schedule some of the state's best. If you look, Upson Lee had their best year they've had in a while. Mary Perston's had a great year. Ravens always having good years. I do think that they are better than what their record shows last year, and a big part of and this team is not a 2-8 football team. So just excited to see what we can do moving forward.
Yep, I completely agree with that. So obviously Rockmart was their toughest competitor within the region, but they scheduled Mary Persons, Upson Lee, as you said, Rabin, and Bremen. So what is the non-region schedule going to look like for you? Obviously it's a new classification, but are there any holdovers? Did you have to help work out the schedule, or was it already in place when you got there?
It was pretty much already in place. You know, they had gone through that process. I mean, that they did allow me to at least get my nod on it, but it was already late. You know, people are trying to find games, and scheduling is difficult. So our non-region going into this year will be Mount Pisgah game 1, Pike game 2, Greene County game 3, and Putnam County game 4.
Okay.
So
that'll be some good ones. And then what about the scrimmages before the season starts?
Well, we're still trying. We're going to have a spring scrimmage that's inter-squad just to get guys to compete against each other, and we're still trying to schedule a spring or a fall scrimmage. So we have not nailed one down yet.
And then defensively, is there a preferred scheme you guys have, or is it just kind of adapting to what the strength or what the game style is of your opponents?
I think that defensively, you have to have the ability to line up in whatever's going to stop somebody. That was kind of one of my selling points to Coach Shaw. Is like, we run a 3-4, but we run whatever stops them. So our 3-4 is very multiple with the way we line it up, but we like to, we think it's simple for our kids, but makes it look very different to the offense. And then we'll utilize some 4-down front stuff when we need to and have different sub packages. But biggest thing is we're just going to get the best 11 guys we can on the football field on defense and get them to run the football as fast as possible, and learn how to keep leverage and tackle together. We're always preaching that too. We're always preaching, a guy may take out 2 blockers. Well, he didn't make the tackle, but he made the play. So teaching and coaching that selfless mindset, because if it spills or gets out there to a guy that's unblocked, the goal a prerequisite in playing defensive football is you're supposed to make the tackle if you're unblocked. So he may have made the tackle, but he did not make the play.
Yep, and obviously there's some guys that have experience that are coming back for Haralson this year, but are there any players within this first month that have either kind of approached you and let them know that they're ready to be a leader, or guys that you've taken under your wing and have pretty much put them at the front of the line of a guy that's going to step up and be that vocal leader?
Oh, I think there's now, and obviously going through an interview, and I haven't gotten through all the seniors yet, but interviewing the outgoing seniors and then the coaches that are here now, they're definitely, a good bit of guys. Just to name a few, like Eli Ryder, who's an outside linebacker, has been named by everybody that he's a guy coming up, and you can see it. He actually just finished, I think, 5th at state in wrestling. Really a big one for me because the whole weight room. We had 5 days this kid was out. Every other day we've been on fire. And Jacob Kilgore played offensive line and defensive line. Big kid, not super vocal, but he works his tail off every day. And then Luke Armstrong, he's playing some quarterback, some linebacker. So he 2 years ago they but handed the ball off, saw him score, a big fist pump. That was my most favorite play of you. So selfless. To bind that leadership goal, get more communication. 5 guys at the top that will, I'm a leadership council that will definitely be a part of this team.
Yep, and you guys will be busy this off season. A lot of work is going to go into it. But what do you think, last question, just about the Mount Pisgah matchup to open it up? I think that's going to be an exciting matchup for you guys, but scheduling them in the opener, how big do you think that is for you guys to kind of come out, turn the page, and play a great program like that early on?
Oh, no doubt. But I really feel like, great program, has had a ton of success. But really, you have to go into it and see that it's whoever we play, it's got to be a faceless opponent. And just try to focus on being the best versions of ourselves. We're not going to know exactly what they're going to be game one. I always say that as a DC, you kind of you kind of hate those early games because until about week 4, teams don't really know who they are offensively. They're still trying to figure out themselves. So the biggest thing for us to do is just to execute who we are and who we're going to be and what we're going to hang our hat on. And if we do that, and if we do that and get the best effort out of the kids, then I don't think there's anything else we can ask out of them.
Fantastic. Well, Coach Crutchfield, thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate it. Congrats on landing the Rebels head coaching job, and can't wait for the season to start.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, Greg.
You bet. All right, so there goes Coach Crutchfield. Definitely going to be a fun team to watch this upcoming season just to see how they're able to turn the page from a 2-8 finish last year. They had some tough losses early on. They did play some close ones that indicate they were a little better than that record suggests, whether it was the North Murray game, a great team, 28-16 loss. North Murray, that's where Ladd McConkey went. They're always a high-powered team, but they're going to have a brand new look of a region. They go from Class 2A down to Class A Division I. Once again, the region is going to be Bremen, Darlington, Heard County, Model, Pepperell, and Temple. So it is a winnable region. It's going to be tough every game, though. I think he's exactly right. They're all winnable games. They're also games where it's going to be a very deep region with no clear front runner, but be an exciting season, and he's going to bring that great defensive mind to the Rebels. So thank you so much to him for coming on. Let's take one more quick break. We'll close out the show real quick with tonight's game plan for the coverage.
Hey, does it matter if this leaks?
It don't matter to me. Can't see it from my house.
Illegal use of hands, improper training.
GeorgiaConstructionCareers.com has 14 different highly skilled trades with tuition free training in our certified apprenticeship programs to train you the right way. Find your career at GeorgiaConstructionCareers.com.
What you doing?
Hey, just finishing this claim to get Dave back on the road.
Nice. I wonder what Dave's doing.
You do your thing. We've got you covered.
All right, we got a few minutes left, so let's go over some of the lower classifications. So I thought this was definitely worth pointing out on the girls' side in Class 2A. Mount Perrin, they're definitely a contender for that 2A state title, and they defeated Rockmart 76-29, but it was within that victory. Check this out. Mount Perrin opened the game on a 35-0 run. Something you definitely don't see too often, especially in the playoffs. So it says that run opened the game and then lasted until 6:03 in the second quarter. They ended up going into the half leading 49-8. So that's a 46-point victory, and it probably could have been even more if Mount Perrin didn't take it easy in that second half. So that's just really impressive. And definitely worth pointing out the fact that they came out that sharp. Mount Perrin in Class 2A. Watch out. So they're going to play Athens Academy, the number 3 seed that defeated Callaway in the second round. The other games in Class 2A, Going to have a few of them tonight. Thompson at Sumter County, number 4 seed Providence Christian at Columbia, and then Washington County, the number 4 seed at Dodge County. In Class A Division I girls, last night Temple, the number 3 seed, defeated Brooks County on the road. Galloway cruised past Armucci 62-18. Dublin and Lamar County advanced to the Sweet 16. And then number 3 seed Commerce defeated number 2 seed Prince Ave 62-58, and will now play number 1 St. Francis, who defeated Dade County 62-21. Big time victory for St. Francis. They're trying to get back to that state championship podium. All right, in Class A Division II girls, the games tonight, it looks like you're going to have about 7 of them. Early County at Trutland, ECI at Clinch, Wilkinson at Warren County. I think the crazy stat about Wilkinson, they've been to 10 state championships and they've won all 10. That is unbelievable. Something you just don't see. A team that has gone 10 out of 10 in the finals, and some of those championships, they're the number 4 seed, they're the number 3, but there's something about them. They're located close to Macon. They've got that magic, so definitely watch out for them. They're going to play Warren County. There'll be a big top 10 matchup, but that's on the girls' side. Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's see. On the boys' side, who does Wilkinson County play? I don't want to leave you guys confused. All right, on the boys' side, Wilkinson County is going to be the number 4 seed, and they're going to play Warren County. Same matchup on the boys. All right, let's look at 3A real quick. On the boys' side, you got number 3 seed Harlem at Monroe. Should be a good one. Calvary Day at Peach County. Stevens County is going to take on defending state champ Sandy Creek. Number 4 seed Carver Atlanta at Hart County. Dawson County at Adairsville. This is on the boys' side. Douglas Atlanta is going to host Monroe area. And then Cedar Grove, who made a great run to the finals last year before falling to Sandy Creek, they're going to go to Hebron Christian tonight. We'll see if the Saints can advance. I think the number 3 seed is a result of just Douglas being outstanding this year, and then Sandy Creek being a state championship contender. I do think Cedar Grove is going to be able to have success on the road tonight, but it will be a tough matchup. In Class 2A, number 2 seed South Atlanta is hosting Fannin County. Watch out for that game. You got number 4 seed Cook at Westside Augusta. The lone game played last night. North Cobb Christian defeated North Murray. Providence Christian at Columbia should be a good one tonight, and also Walker at Rockmart. Walker is the number 3 seed in that loaded Region 6. North Cobb Christian took the 1. They already advanced. South Atlanta's the 2. They play Fannin County. And then the number 4 seed in Region 6 is Drew Charter. They will play Model. So a potential sweep, because that was the deepest region. But that is all we have for you for today's show. We'll be back tomorrow. Go to scoreatl.com tonight, and we'll have the scoreboard updated. We'll have spring updates, and then we'll have the full picture of the Sweet 16 after tonight. We're going to have all the boys' results, the rest of the girls, and any breaking news within the recaps or within the games, big upsets, big performances. You'll be able to check that out tonight before you call it a day. So thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you then.
Dang, where you get this car?
You need to join the union.
The union?
Absolutely. You can get 10 of these.
Union construction workers earn the highest wages with the best benefits and the most protection in the construction industry. Find your career in construction. Go to GeorgiaConstructionCareers.com and start your future today.